My friends, my fellow strivers, look around you and within. Do you recognize the tragedy of the brilliant specialist, a titan in their field but a pauper in spirit? Or the achiever whose ambition led to magnificent heights, only for their neglected body to fail them at the summit? Or the educated fool, tangled in theory, who lacks practical sense? These are the silent cripplers of potential. In this address, I will show you precisely how to build a complete self and become the person the world is searching for. Do you feel this void in the world? It is a palpable hunger, a deafening cry. I see 1,000 pulpits vacant, yet 1,000 preachers stand idle. Why? Because the world is not merely looking for a preacher. It is looking for a complete man to fill that role. The same is true in every office, every factory, every laboratory. The want is not for more hands or more brains in the narrow sense, but for more manhood. Everywhere the advertisement is posted in the soul of humanity. Wanted. A man. Not a fragment, not a caricature. The world wants a person of courage who is not a coward in any part of their nature. A person who is well balanced, not cursed with some little defect, some private weakness that cripples their public usefulness and neutralizes their God-given powers. This is the great search of our age, my friend, and the greatest opportunity you will ever be given is the chance to answer that call by first building yourself, brick by painstaking brick. The world is tired of the lopsided man. It cries out for the individual who is symmetrical, not one-sided in his development. It has seen enough of the man who has channeled all the furious energies of his being into one narrow specialty, only to allow all the other vital branches of his life to wither and die, like unwatered plants in a forgotten garden. Think of the brilliant programmer who cannot hold a conversation, the master financier who has no friends, the acclaimed artist whose personal life is a canvas of chaos. They have built a single magnificent pillar, but it stands alone in a field of rubble. This is not strength, it is a fortress with one great wall and 3 sides of crumbling sand. I tell you, such a structure cannot withstand the sieges of life. The world demands a man who is broad, who does not take half views of things, but sees life in its grand, interconnected totality. This is the foundation upon which all true and lasting success is built, the very blueprint for a life of impact. And what of education? We have built great universities, temples of learning that are the envy of the world. Yet how many of our graduates emerge spoiled by the very process meant to uplift them? They are filled with theories but devoid of sense. The world needs a man who mixes common sense with his theories, who does not let a college education ruin him for the practical, everyday business of living. A man who understands that a formula is useless without the wisdom to apply it, that a grand philosophy is hollow if it does not translate into kind and effective action. The great educator Rousseau knew this. He said of his pupil, "Let him first be a man. To live is the profession I would teach him." He understood that the goal of education is not to create a lawyer, or a doctor, or a divine, but to forge a complete human being. One who, as fortune moves him from rank to rank, will always be found in his proper place, because his foundation is not his title, but his humanity. Furthermore, the world demands substance over show. It is weary of the polished exterior that conceals a hollow core. It seeks the man who regards his good name, his character, as a priceless treasure, more valuable than any bank account or public acclaim. This is the man Emerson spoke of when he relayed Talleyrand's essential question, not is he rich? Or has he this or that faculty? But is he anybody? Does he stand for something? This is the ultimate inquiry. To be anybody does not mean to be famous. It means to be a person of substance, of integrity, of unwavering principle. It means that your yes is a bond and your no is a fortress. When a man has built this inner character, he becomes a force of nature. He is no longer a leaf blown about by the winds of public opinion or fleeting trends. He is the oak, rooted deep in the soil of his own convictions, and the world will instinctively seek his shade and his strength in the fiercest of storms. When a young James Garfield, who would one day lead this great nation, was asked what he meant to be, he did not list a profession. He did not say a general or a statesman. His reply struck at the very heart of the matter. He said, "First of all, I must make myself a man. If I do not succeed in that, I can succeed in nothing. Think of the profound wisdom in those words. Here was a boy who understood that all the titles and triumphs of the world are built upon the bedrock of a well-formed character. Without that foundation, any edifice of achievement is destined to collapse into a pile of dust and regret. You cannot build a skyscraper on a foundation of mud. You cannot carve a masterpiece from rotten wood. And you, my friend, cannot achieve a life of lasting greatness if you neglect the primary fundamental task of first forging yourself into a complete, balanced, and honorable human being. This is not a preliminary step, it is the entire game. The great French philosopher Montaigne declared that our work is not to train a soul by itself alone, nor a body by itself alone, but to train a man. This is a truth that our modern, hyper-specialized age has perilously forgotten. We have become obsessed with training one faculty to the exclusion of all others. We send the intellect to the university, the body to the gymnasium, and the soul to the church as if they were three separate entities that never communicate. The result? We produce brilliant minds in frail bodies. We create powerful physiques with undisciplined minds. We foster pious souls who lack the practical strength to enact their own virtues in the world. This is a tragic fragmentation of the human potential. Nature herself protests against this division. She demands wholeness. She designed you as an integrated system, where the state of the body influences the mind, and the clarity of the mind fortifies the soul. To train one part alone is to create a disharmonious being. Let me be blunt, my friend. One of the greatest needs for the world today is for men and women who are good animals. Do not be shocked by this language. I mean it with the utmost gravity. To endure the relentless, crushing strain of our concentrated, high-pressure civilization, the coming man and woman must possess a robust physique and an excess of what we call animal spirits. This is not a call to crude behavior, but a demand for a foundation of vibrant, pulsating health. What more glorious sight is there on God's green earth than a magnificent manhood or womanhood, animated with the bounding spirits of overflowing health? A clear eye, a steady hand, a tireless mind. These are not accidents. They are the direct result of a body that is cared for, respected, and brimming with energy. You cannot pour a powerful spirit into a weak vessel. The raw, primal energy of a healthy body is the fuel for every great thought, every courageous act, every noble ambition you will ever have. What a heartbreaking sight it is to see thousands graduating from our grand institutions, whose very purpose is to make stalwart, independent men and women, turned out into the world as saplings instead of stalwart oaks. They are memory glands instead of brainy, thinking men. They are helpless instead of self-supporting, sickly instead of robust, weak instead of strong, leaning instead of erect. As the poet lamented, so many promising youths and never a finished man. We have stuffed their heads with facts but failed to build their constitutions. We have sharpened their intellects but neglected their backbones. We have given them diplomas but not the physical or moral stamina to use them. This is a profound failure of our educational vision. We are producing fragile ornaments when the world is crying out for unbreakable tools, for men and women who can bear the burdens of leadership and innovation without shattering under the first real pressure. Do not underestimate the silent, insidious connection between the body and the character. Your character sympathizes with and unconsciously takes on the nature of your body. It is a law of our being. It is a law of our being. A peevish, snarling, ailing man simply cannot develop the vigor and strength of character that is possible to a healthy, robust, and cheerful man. How can you be magnanimous when your nerves are frayed from lack of sleep? How can you be courageous when your body is trembling with exhaustion? How can you radiate optimism when you are bogged down by constant, low-grade physical misery? The sickly man's worldview shrinks to the size of his own discomfort. His spirit, meant to soar like an eagle, is caged by his own frail flesh. A healthy body, my friend, is not a matter of vanity. It is the very soil from which a great and noble character grows. To neglect your health is to starve your own soul of its potential for greatness and impact. There is an inherent love in the human mind for wholeness. We are born with a deep instinctual demand that a man shall come up to the highest standard of his potential. and just as powerful is our inherent protest and contempt for preventable deficiency. We do not scorn the man born with a disability, but we feel a righteous impatience with the man who, born with every faculty intact, allows his powers to atrophy through laziness, neglect, or vice. When we see a man of brilliant intellect with a weak, neglected body, something in us cries foul. It feels like a beautiful engine placed in a rusted, broken-down chassis. It is a waste. Nature herself demands that man be ever at the top of his condition. She does not coddle the slacker. She rewards the one who honors her gift of life by cultivating every part of it. This inner drive for wholeness is your greatest ally. It is the voice of your own potential calling you to rise, to balance, to become complete and strong. Consider the folly of the little doctor of divinity at the large convention. When lost in the crowd, someone cried out, "Get up higher," so he could be heard. "I can't," he replied. "To be a Baptist is as high as one can get." My friends, what a tragic and comical limitation of vision. There is something infinitely higher than being a Baptist, or a Methodist, or a Catholic, or an expert of any kind. It is being a man, a complete, functioning, powerful human being. This little doctor had so identified with his narrow specialty that he forgot the vastness of his own humanity. He placed the label above the substance. He valued the part more than the whole. And in doing so, he limited his influence, his power, and his own joy. This is the danger we all face. We can become so proud of our one little area of expertise that we build a fence around it and refuse to venture out. But life is not lived in a single fenced-in pasture. It is a vast open range, and it belongs to those who dare to explore all of it. Let us invent a modern parable. Imagine a brilliant architect, a woman who can design skyscrapers that pierce the heavens. Her mind is a marvel of engineering and aesthetics. She works 18 hours a day, fueled by caffeine and sheer will. Her designs win every award. Yet she is a stranger to her own family. Her health is deteriorating from stress and neglect. She has no friends, only colleagues who admire her from a distance. One day, a potential client, a wise old philanthropist, comes to her office. He does not ask about her awards. He asks, "Tell me, what brings you joy outside of these blueprints? What have you learned from the world that cannot be measured with a T-square?" The architect is silent. She has no answer. The philanthropist leaves, choosing a lesser-known architect who designed community gardens and spoke with passion about his family. Why? Because the philanthropist knew that a building designed by a whole person would have more heart, more soul, more life. The world wants a man who is educated all over. This is the call. Not just in the brain, but in the entire being. It wants a man whose nerves are brought to their acutest sensibility, alive to the beauty and tragedy of the world. Whose brain is cultured, yes, but also keen, incisive, and broad, not a narrow, deep groove. Whose hands are deft, able to create and to fix, to build and to mend. Whose eyes are alert, sensitive, microscopic, seeing not just the grand picture but the crucial details upon which greatness depends. And crucially, my friends, whose heart is tender, magnanimous, and true. A heart that can feel empathy, that can forgive, that can love. Without this, all the rest is but a cold metallic machine. A brilliant mind with a cold heart is a menace. A strong body with a cold heart is a brute. The education of the heart is the most important schooling of all, for it is the heart that directs the powers of the mind and body toward noble ends. This wanted man is not a stunted ascetic, denying the joys of life. No, he is full of life and fire, but, and this is the critical distinction, his passions are trained to heed a strong will, which is itself the servant of a tender conscience. He has not extinguished his passions, he has harnessed them. Think of a wild, magnificent stallion. The ascetic would kill the horse, the fool would let it run wild, trampling everything in its path. But the complete man, the master of himself, tames the stallion. He breaks it to the bridle of his will, and he uses its tremendous power to pull the chariot of his purpose. He has learned to love all beauty, whether of nature or of art. He has learned to hate all vileness with a righteous anger, and he has learned that fundamental law of all decent society, to respect others as he respects himself. He enjoys life, but he is not a slave to its pleasures. He is its master. Think of your life as a great ship. Your grand ambition, to be a great doctor, a great artist, a great entrepreneur. That is the magnificent sail, designed to catch the winds of opportunity. Your intellect is the rudder, steering your course. But what of the hull? What of the simple, sturdy planks that keep the water out? That, my friends, is your physical health, your common sense, your basic human decency. We see men who build a gigantic, glorious sail of specialized talent. They hoist it proudly, but they have neglected the hull. They have allowed a small leak of ill health, a tiny rot of social awkwardness, a crack of poor character. And so, when they launch into the great ocean of life, they are confounded. For all the power in their sail, they take on water. They list, they sink, while a smaller, less glorious ship with a sound hull sails calmly by. It is not the size of your sail that determines your journey's success, but the integrity of your hull. And here is the grand paradox of our time. Although millions of people feel adrift and purposeless, it is still almost impossible to find just the right person for any important position. In every department of life, from the corner store to the halls of government, leaders are tearing their hair out, searching for the complete individual. They can find specialists in abundance. They can find strong backs. They can find sharp minds. But to find them all in one integrated, reliable, high-character person, that is the needle in the haystack. This should not be a cause for despair for you. It should be a source of electrifying hope. The scarcity of the commodity is what gives it its supreme value. If you will set yourself to the task of becoming that complete man, that whole woman, the world will not just welcome you. It will hunt for you. It will bid for you. It will place its greatest trusts and highest honors in your hands. You become the wanted one. Now, you may hear this and say, "But Dr. Marden, the world is complex. I must specialize to survive. How can I possibly find the time to be a scholar, an athlete, a saint, and a practical man of business all at once?" This is a misunderstanding of the principle. The goal is not to be the world's greatest expert in 10 different fields. The goal is to be a man, not a museum of talents. It is about balance, not encyclopedic knowledge. It means you do not allow your professional work to crowd out your physical exercise. It means you do not allow your intellectual pursuits to make you contemptuous of simple, honest labor. It means you do not allow your focus on success to erode your character. It is the principle of the farmer who rotates his crops. He knows that planting the same crop in the same field year after year depletes the soil. To keep the soil rich, he must introduce variety. Your life is that soil. Do not deplete it with relentless, one-sided effort. Rotate your crops. Let us consider the modern executive. He spends years in business school learning strategy, finance, and marketing. He becomes a master of the spreadsheet and the quarterly report. But no one taught him how to manage his own stress, how to eat for sustained energy, or how to build genuine rapport with the people he leads. So what happens? He rises through the ranks, his mind sharp as a razor. But by 50, he is battling burnout. His relationships are strained, and his team fears him more than they respect him. His one-sided development has created a bottleneck for his own success and for the potential of his entire organization. He is the brilliant general who wins the battle but loses the loyalty of his own troops. He knows how to manage a balance sheet, but not the delicate balance of his own life. His company and his soul pay the price for his lopsided education. He is a cautionary tale written in the ink of missed potential, a lesson for us all. Now let's talk directly to you, the young man, the young woman, standing at the threshold of your life. The world will tempt you with the siren song of specialization. It will say, pick one thing and do it better than anyone else. Forget the rest. And there is a sliver of truth there, but it is a dangerous half-truth. I say to you, by all means develop a towering strength, a central pillar for your life's work. But as you build that pillar, you absolutely must, build the supporting arches of a complete life. While you are mastering your trade, read a great book that has nothing to do with it. While you are building your business, take a walk in nature and learn the names of the trees. While you are honing your intellect, learn to cook a decent meal or fix a leaky faucet. Those are not distractions from your ambition. They are the very things that will sustain it. They keep you human and prevent you from becoming a monstrous caricature of success. I hear your objection, but this balanced life sounds so average. I want to be exceptional. My friend, you misunderstand greatness. Was Leonardo da Vinci average? He was a painter of divine skill, but also a scientist, an engineer, an anatomist, a musician. His breadth of knowledge fueled his depth of insight. His study of anatomy made his figures more lifelike. His understanding of physics informed his inventions. His various pursuits did not dilute his genius, they compounded it. The same is true for the titans of our own age. The most innovative leaders are often voracious readers of history. The most resilient entrepreneurs are often dedicated athletes. They understand that creativity and strength are not born in a vacuum. They are born at the intersection of different disciplines. True exceptionalism is not in a deep, narrow well. It is in the man who can draw water from many wells and combine them into something new and powerful. Think about the neuroscience of it. The brain itself rebels against this notion of single-minded focus. When you learn a new skill, a new pathway is forged in your mind. When you engage in a physical activity, you release chemicals that enhance mood and cognitive function. When you engage in deep, meaningful conversation, you strengthen the social-emotional centers of your brain. By pursuing a balanced life, you are not just being philosophical, you are literally building a better brain. The specialist who only performs one task over and over again is like a man who only exercises his right bicep. Yes, that bicep may become unnaturally large, but the rest of his body will be weak and atrophied. The man who engages in a full-body workout, running for his heart, weights for his muscles, stretching for his flexibility, builds a body that is comprehensively strong, resilient, and useful. Be a full-body workout for your own soul. Let us return to this demand for substance over show. In our modern world of social media and personal branding, the temptation to cultivate an image of success rather than the reality of it is immense. We can project an image of perfect health while our bodies are screaming for rest. We can project an image of profound wisdom with a well-chosen quote, while our minds are starved of genuine learning. We can project an image of a happy, balanced life while our reality is one of frantic, one-sided obsession. My friend, this is a fool's bargain. You cannot fool reality. You cannot fool your own nervous system. You cannot fool the deep, quiet voice of your own conscience. All the likes and shares in the world cannot fill the void left by a neglected soul or a broken body. The most important work you will ever do is the work no one sees. It is the quiet discipline, the daily commitment to your own wholeness, that builds the unshakable foundation of a life that is not just successful, but is also good. And what is the ultimate test of this complete man? It is resilience. The one-sided specialist is a fragile creature. His identity, his income, his very sense of self are tied to one narrow skill. If that skill becomes obsolete, if his industry is disrupted, if his body fails him in that one specific way, he is destroyed. He collapses like a house of cards. But the complete man, the balanced man, he is a pyramid, he is broad at the base. If one side is weathered by a storm, he has three others to support him. If his career takes an unexpected turn, he has his health, his wisdom, his relationships, and his practical skills to fall back on. He can reinvent himself because his identity is not a banker or a coder. His identity is a man. A capable, resilient, adaptable human being. Building a balanced life is not just a path to greater success. It is the ultimate insurance policy against the inevitable shocks and arrows of outrageous fortune. You may say, but I am not a Garfield, destined for the presidency. I am not a Da Vinci, a universal genius. And I say to you, my friend, you are missing the point entirely. The law is the same for the minnow as it is for the whale. The principle of balance and wholeness governs the life of the humble clerk, just as it governs the life of the king. The mountain of self-doubt that you face in your daily life, the private battles you fight against sloth or fear, these are your Alps to conquer. The same grit and wholeness that a Napoleon needed to command armies is the very same force, on a different scale, that you must summon to command your own life, to lead your own family, to manage your own mind. Do not belittle your own struggles or your own potential. The arena is different, but the nature of the fight is the same. It is the fight for self-mastery, for completeness, for the right to stand erect and say, I am a whole and complete man. So how do you begin this journey, right now today? You do not begin by trying to do everything at once. You begin with an honest inventory. Take out a piece of paper, draw a circle and divide it into 4 quadrants. Label them: body, mind, character, and craft. Now, be brutally honest with yourself. Which of these quadrants have you been neglecting? Where is the withered branch? Is your craft, your job, or specialty a towering, monstrous tree while your body is a forgotten shrub? Is your mind sharp, but your character, your patience, your integrity, your kindness allowed to soften and decay? This simple drawing is your map. It will show you where the work needs to be done. It is not a map of your failures, it is a map of your greatest opportunities for growth. The weakest quadrant is the area where the smallest investment will yield the most dramatic returns in your overall power and happiness and peace of mind. Once you have identified your weakest area, you must apply the law of deliberate incremental progress. Do not say, my body is weak, I will now spend 3 hours in the gym every day. You will fail within a week. Instead, make a ridiculously small promise to yourself. If your body is the problem, promise to take a 10-minute walk every single day. Just 10 minutes. If your mind has grown dull outside your specialty, promise to read just 5 pages of a challenging book each night. If your character lacks patience, promise to consciously practice taking 3 deep breaths before responding in a stressful conversation. The point is not the magnitude of the act, but the consistency of it. A small hinge can swing a massive door. A tiny rudder can turn a great ship. These small, consistent daily acts of shoring up your weaknesses are what will, over time, transform you into that stalwart, balanced, and powerful individual. My friends, the time for excuses is over. The time for waiting for the right moment to build yourself is past, for that moment is always now. Every sunrise presents you with a fresh grant of 24 hours. A divine opportunity to add 1 stone to the temple of your character, to add 1 bit of vitality to the engine of your body, to add 1 ray of light to the lamp of your mind. Do not squander this sacred gift. The man you will be in 5 years is the direct sum of the choices you make today, tomorrow, and the day after. The path to becoming the wanted man is not a single heroic leap, but 1,000 small disciplined steps taken in the right direction. Every small victory over laziness, every choice to learn instead of distract, every act of integrity when no one is watching, these are the atoms that build the mountain of a great life. Seize this day, seize this very hour. Your future self is begging you to begin this work. This is your great work, not just to earn a living, but to build a life so strong in its foundation, so balanced in its structure, that it can withstand any storm. A life so vibrant and full that it becomes a source of light and strength for others. You are the architect, the builder, and the raw material all in one. There is no higher calling, no grander adventure, than the creation of a magnificent self. Forget the cheap applause for a one-dimensional triumph. Seek the deep, abiding satisfaction of wholeness. Seek to become the man or woman who is not just good at one thing, but is good at being a human. For when you have accomplished that, as Garfield knew, you can accomplish anything. Your power will not be the fragile strength of the specialist, but the resilient, adaptable, and inexhaustible power of a fully realized soul. This is the ultimate prize, the only one worth a lifetime of effort. I can picture a young man, perhaps listening right now, saying to himself, "This is all well and good for others, but my circumstances are different. I am hemmed in by poverty, by a lack of education, by a dead-end job." To you I say, these are not barriers, they are your gymnasium. It is in the very friction of these difficulties that the sparks of greatness are struck. Abraham Lincoln was not handicapped by his log cabin, he was forged in it. It was his struggle that gave him his strength, his empathy, his unshakable resolve. Do not curse your limitations, use them. Use your poverty to learn the value of $1 and the virtue of resourcefulness. Use your lack of formal schooling to cultivate a hunger for real knowledge. Use the drudgery of your job to build a will of iron. Your disadvantages are not your destiny. They are your tools for carving out a magnificent one. So rise and fight. Furthermore, every interaction you have is a chance to build your completeness. The world is your university, and every person you meet is a professor. Do you practice the art of listening, truly listening, to the person in front of you? That builds your character. Do you force yourself to explain your specialized knowledge in simple terms a child could understand? That broadens your mind. Do you choose patience when faced with frustration? That strengthens your will. The development of a complete man is not something you schedule for an hour on Sunday morning. It is a moment-by-moment practice. It is in how you treat the store clerk, how you react to traffic, how you spend your 15 minutes of break time. Every single moment is a choice. Will I build a part of myself, or will I let it atrophy? Will I add a stone to my temple, or will I let the weeds grow? The choice is always, always yours. The great danger is that we mistake the symbol for the reality. We get a diploma and think we are educated. We get a promotion and think we are successful. We get a gym membership and think we are healthy. These are nothing. Domsal and awe. They are merely receipts for an opportunity. The diploma is not education. The education is the change that occurs within your mind. The promotion is not success. The success is the leader you become. The membership is not health. The health is the vitality that courses through your veins. Do not be the man who frames the receipt and throws away the purchase. Your work is to be the thing, not to have the certificate of it. The world is drowning in people who have the certificates, the titles, the symbols of worth. It is starving for the people who embody the reality. Be the reality. Be the strong, wise, honorable man the certificate can only point to. Consider the matter of your moral backbone. This is not some abstract philosophical concept. It is the central pillar that holds up the entire edifice of your life. You can be brilliant, you can be charming, you can be strong, but if your character is rotten, if you cannot be trusted, you are building your house on quicksand. The world may tolerate a clever scoundrel for a time, but it will never give him its ultimate trust or its highest honors. A reputation for unshakable integrity is a greater asset than any bank account. It is the silent force that opens doors, the invisible currency that buys loyalty, the unseen shield that protects you in a crisis. How do you build it? Not with one grand heroic gesture, but with 1,000 small, unseen choices. The choice to tell the truth when a lie would be easier. The choice to keep a promise when it becomes inconvenient. The choice to give fair value in every transaction. This is the slow, patient work that forges a character of steel. Likewise, cultivate your intellectual breadth as a defense against the tyranny of the present moment. The man who knows nothing of history as a child, easily swayed by the latest fad and the loudest demagogue. The man who has never wrestled with the great philosophical questions is a leaf in the wind, his beliefs unmoored from any deep conviction. Reading widely, studying the great thoughts of the great minds, is not a luxury for the idle. It is a practical necessity for anyone who wishes to navigate life with wisdom and foresight. It provides you with a mental toolkit of models and metaphors. It gives you perspective. It shows you that your unprecedented problem has been faced and solved by countless others before you. A broad mind is a stable mind, a mind that cannot be easily panicked or fooled. It is the eagle's eye view in a world where most people see only the ground at their feet. This is an advantage you must seize for yourself. And do not forget the simple power of being useful. In our quest for grand titles and earth-shaking achievements, we often forget the profound satisfaction and strength that comes from simple, practical competence. Can you fix a leaky pipe? Can you cook a nourishing meal for your family? Can you balance your own books? Can you soothe a crying child? These are not trivialities. They are the sinews of a self-reliant life. The man who is dependent on a dozen specialists for his daily existence is not truly free. He is a king in his office but a pauper in his own home. The ability to handle the small practical challenges of life with your own hands and your own mind builds a foundation of confidence that no abstract success can replicate. It grounds you in reality. It reminds you that you are a capable, creative agent in the physical world. This, my friend, is a source of immense and often overlooked power. Cultivate it without shame. I see the question in your mind. How can I do all this? The day has only 24 hours. You do it by waging a relentless war against the thieves of time. What are these thieves? The mindless scrolling that dulls your brain and steals your ambition. The gossip that cheapens your character and wastes your breath. The worry over things you cannot control that drains your energy. The hesitation and procrastination that murder your opportunities. You must become a ruthless guardian of your moments. Every hour you reclaim from these thieves is an hour you can invest in your body, your mind, or your character. You do not need more time, you need more intention. You need to decide that your growth is more important than your distraction. The complete man is not born with more hours in his day. He is forged by the discipline with which he uses the hours he is given. Guard your time as you would guard your life, for your time asks your life. The world will not pay you for what you know. It will pay you for what you can do with what you know. And more than that, it will ultimately reward you for who you are. A great character is the highest form of power. A balanced life is the most fertile ground for genius. A robust body is the engine of all great endeavor. You are the architect of this living temple. Every day you choose the materials. Will you use the cheap plaster of superficiality or the solid granite of discipline? Will you build one towering, unstable spire or a magnificent, balanced cathedral? The choice is laid before you not once in a lifetime, but 1,000 times a day. The sum of these choices is your destiny. The world is calling for you, not for a fraction of you, but for the whole, complete, powerful person you have it in you to become. The only question is, will you answer the call? Will you begin the great work today? And now we come to the final thundering charge. The world's cry, wanted, a man, is not a distant echo from a bygone era. It is ringing in your ears right now, in this very moment. It is the cry of your own unused potential. It is the demand of your own destiny. Will you answer it? Will you rise from the slumber of one-sided effort and dare to become whole? The materials are all there. The divine spark is within you. The need is all around you. All that is missing is your decision. A fiery, irrevocable, unshakable decision to begin the sacred work of self-creation. The world does not need another clever fragment. It does not need another brilliant wreck. It does not need another strong brute. It needs you, all of you, strong, balanced, brave, and complete. This is your moment of truth. This is your call to arms. The battlefield is your own life, and the prize is a fully realized soul. So I ask you directly, you who are listening to my voice right now, what is the one branch of your life's tree that you have allowed to wither? Is it the branch of health, starved by long hours and poor habits? Is it the branch of mind where you have ceased to learn outside your narrow field? Is it the branch of character, softened by 1,000 small compromises? I want you to name it, to see it clearly in your mind's eye. Now, I charge you with this task. Go to the comments below and declare it. Write down the one great quadrant of your life, body, mind, or character, that you will now commit to nourishing. Do not be ashamed. This act of declaration is not an admission of failure. It is your first victory. It is the moment you stop ignoring the leak in your ship and resolve to repair it. Let this community bear witness to your decision and cheer you on. A declaration is powerful, but it must be followed by action, however small. So I give you a second charge. After you have declared the area you will restore, I want you to share the very first, concrete physical action you will take this week to apply this principle. Not a grand plan, but a first step. Will you walk for 15 minutes on Tuesday? Will you call that old friend on Saturday? Will you buy that book you've been meaning to read and place it on your nightstand? Be specific. I will go for a walk is a wish. I will walk around the block after dinner on Wednesday is a plan. Post that small, achievable plan in the comments. Why? Because this act translates your intention into the physical world. It makes it real. It proves to yourself and to this community of strivers that you are no longer a dreamer, but a doer. Your journey of 1,000 miles begins with this single, simple step. Take it now. Finally, for those of you right now who are facing your own private Alps of doubt, who feel the weight of your own imbalances crushing you, I have a special invitation. Do not suffer in silence. That is the way of the weak. The strong ask for help and offer it freely. Declare your challenge in the comments. You do not need to share intimate details, but state your mountain. My challenge is overcoming burnout. My challenge is rebuilding my physical health. My challenge is finding purpose beyond my job. This act of naming your struggle is the first step to conquering it. It takes the formless phantom of anxiety and gives it a name and a shape, something you can fight. And know this community will stand with you. The encouragement you find here from fellow travelers on this same path will be a mighty force to lift you up. Declare your battle, and you've already begun to win. Strength is found in union. Do not let the fire I have tried to light in your heart today be extinguished by the cold waters of tomorrow's routine. Go forth from this moment and see the world through new eyes. See the lopsidedness in others not with judgment, but with understanding. And see the potential for wholeness in yourself not as a distant dream, but as an immediate and sacred duty. You are a miracle of creation, endowed with a body to master, a mind to cultivate, and a character to forge. To neglect any part of this divine inheritance is the greatest tragedy of all. Let your life be your great argument. Let your very being be the proof that a man can be strong and kind, brilliant and practical, ambitious and honorable. Go now and build your cathedral of self. Build it strong, build it balanced, build it to last for eternity. The world is waiting for you. Do not keep it waiting any longer.